I'm Eddie the Grandpa.
It doesn't make sense.
What's that music?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Pardon Podcast. We have switched genres, and we're now doing ear cleaning videos. However, we don't have any actual visuals, so we are just going to do the audio to Eddie getting his ears clean.
Eddie's not actually going to talk this time. He's just going to grunt while Sarah picks in his ear.
You can hear sensual noises that he's making.
Is it pleasure or pain? Tell us in the comments.
Pleasure.
Ew!
You nasty ass bastard! I'd say a little bit of both. Now, speaking of both pleasure and pain, let's get on to the abomination.
Wait, why is that
of
a
the
new
film.
voice? What the heck?
Oh, wait. Yeah, let's introduce ourselves.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm Dylan Morris.
I'm Matthew.
I'm cleaning Eddie's ear.
That's a great name.
AKA Sarah the Baby.
Yes!
We've got Sean Hirsch with
Special guest star.
special guest.
You have like crust.
And
on your
Eddie's here.
Get it first.
Alrighty, so...
Eddie is here getting his ears
I
clean.
got all the ear wax out.
I have blackheads in my ears.
So he's getting his ears cleaned, essentially. But
This is definitely the weirdest thing we've done with this
Eddie's
podcast.
ear hygiene was so bad he got pimples inside of his ear.
no, I think the audio from this movie was just so horrendous that Eddie's ears tried to close up to the point where just listening to Santa's horrendous laugh. Ho ho ho! Ah, ah. Any time in this movie he laughed, it sounded as though a demon was like pre-recorded and just brought over with like a laughter, like a.
He was screeching, and every time he'd laugh, every other character would laugh.
Yeah, the movie being Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
yeah,
of
that's
course.
what-
Yeah, let's start off. Let's start off with the title of this film. The title of this film was Santa Claus Conquers Mars.
The Martians.
The Martians. So
From
Santa.
1964.
Yes, quite an old film, but nevertheless, I think it's aged. I think it's aged perfectly.
It's
Yes.
the best film from the 60s, not Psycho or whatever other
Deliverance.
Casablanca, maybe.
Yep, my favorite '60s film. Casablanca.
Wait, no.
Just like this hit
What am I thinking
60s,
of?
this hit 60s movie Wizard
What?
of Oz.
I'm thinking about the one with the
2001.
sled.
2001 came out. The one with the sled. Are you talking Citizen Kane?
Citizen Kane. Was that 50s or 60s?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was. I think.
I feel like that was
50.
50s.
Yeah,
that seems.
Well,
Anyways, back to what is this movie? Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
the name is very deceptive.
It is misleading. It makes it sound like Santa Claus is fighting the Martians and is going to be fighting against them throughout the entire film. Not what he does.
No, he doesn't fight them at all. I was expecting, like, have you guys ever seen the Tim Burton movie where the Martians invade with, like, the giant heads inside the dome?
Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks. I was
Attacks.
expecting, like,
Tim
Mars
Allen
Attacks.
is in that movie?
Is he really?
Is he? You just said he was.
Did I say Tim Allen?
Yeah,
You said Tim Burton.
You said Tim Burton.
Oh, you said
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
I heard Tim Allen.
I heard Tim Allen.
It's because we're talking about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That's why.
I feel like a better name for this movie is The Korg Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, was that his name?
I think
Who,
so.
who was okay? So let's get down to the nitty gritty of
brass
this. So the movie opens up with
The news broadcast.
with the news broadcast explaining that it is Christmas time, and no, the movie opens up with the Martians because we're first introduced to the Martians, which are the weirdest Martians I've ever seen in film history. So they didn't bother going with like a prosthetic to show off that they're aliens or not. They're just normal humans.
Yeah.
Normal humans. just horrendously painted.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
there
if
are
you
cracks, like they swept through it. The colors changed throughout the movie.
If you think it was a budget issue, it wasn't, because they had 1.7 million real dollars.
No, they had
like of U.S. today dollars.
200,000 back in the day, which equates to 1.7 million dollars.
So they could have gotten a better thing to do.
They did, but I think it was because in the beginning of the film it seemed as though what represents a Martian is a human being but with their skin painted blue.
And they eat the same food as us but in pill form, which was super weird to me. They speak English, they breathe oxygen, and they still have hamburgers, but it's pills, so you know they're aliens.
And a special treat for them, chocolate layer cake pills.
And they have Septober instead of September and October.
Yeah, you gotta put them.
That's how aliens work.
It is. All Mars life is just slightly different from Earth life. That's the only thing that's are with aliens.
Yeah.
They all have mustaches as well.
Which aren't painted.
Oh yeah, no,
but they are fake.
All of the facial hair of every single alien. They just. None of the actors, I assume, just wanted to shave, so they were just like, just paint over the face and forget the beard.
Yeah, exactly.
But
one of the mustaches was fake because there's a scene from the side where it looks like it's falling off. So that was a purposeful choice that they made, which is even weirder to me.
Hey, I think they wanted to show the difference between the two Martians, because ultimately when the Martians have their headgear on, you cannot tell them apart at all.
That's fair.
Because everyone in this movie is just like a 1960s actor white dude.
Yeah.
So, and they all got that transatlantic accent.
Sir, Earth radar beams are bouncing off our ship.
Well, it certainly took them long enough.
Hold on. Turn on the radar shield.
They don't bother trying to speak in a different dialect when it comes to the Martians.
True.
And they just ultimately are them being in blue skin. Halfway through the film, the blue face makeup just kind of deteriorates, and you can easily see it coming off when they're sweating under these lights. Oh my gosh, we should talk about the lighting, cause
the lighting guy was asleep. The best example of that was when they're at the North Pole.
Oh, with the polar bear.
The polar bear. So there's just a guy in a suit that sort of crawls towards the kids, and they hide in the darkest cave I've ever seen. Like, I've been in a pitch black room. That felt darker than pitch black.
I feel, though, I think the fun part about the polar bear is, there was one guy on set that was like, oh, I'll do it, I'll put on the suit, let me crawl around as a polar bear.
No, it was the same guy that dressed up as that robot that just hugged those kids and was like, I'm gonna take these kids now. So there was a robot who was owned by the evil mustache twirling blue Martian guy, the antagonist of the film.
You know he's evil because he has facial hair. Mm-hmm. That's essentially how you tell them apart.
And he's the only jacked one of the Martians.
That is true. You can see his pecs through his tight suit.
All of the Martians ended up wearing like these tight latex suits that just looked just god awful.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think they're so tight because sex sells.
Sex sells, Morty.
Sex does sell.
And then there's a guy. Even though this movie didn't come out, there's a guy doing his best. Rob Schneider from the movie The 51st Dates.
Why are you sleeping during working hours?
I wasn't sleeping, Chief. It's just that I haven't been able to sleep these last few nights. I forgot how. So I was just practicing.
Why you gotta spread those lies? Sharks are like dogs. They only bite when you touch their private parts.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good title for my documentary. Sharks. They only bite when you touch their private parts.
Like his character in that, like the bumbling idiot.
Despite being released 40 years beforehand.
He knew it was coming, and he did his best impression of that character.
He was a big Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo fan.
No, I can see a lot of comparisons to to modern day films. I'm pretty sure Star Wars actually took a large inspiration from this film.
This did come out before Star Wars. We don't know.
Yeah, I just got a text from Alfred Hitchcock, and he said that was his submission for the NASA moon landing, but they did not take it.
No, they went with Stanley Kubrick's directing instead.
Oh yeah.
They said Hitchcock went a little too crazy for.
How do your ears feel? You bleeding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, what did you do to him?
I accidentally poked him with these and I didn't know how sharp they were.
Eddie just hears ringing.
So for all the listeners out at home, Eddie, Eddie the grandpa is getting his ears cleaned like the
he has
the old
a black
man
head in his ear, and he wanted me to get it because I love squeezing out blackheads.
Heads up.
What did you guys?
Okay. Sarah did not watch this movie.
She was fake packing the entire
She was avoiding us. Because Sean smells really bad.
It is true. I have not showered in close to a week and a half. It's permeating through the air.
Ew, permeating. Here, this is yours.
All of the smells coming from one moist crevice. I think we know which one that we're talking about.
Lip crevice.
That's right.
Eddie's ear canal
is making Sean smell.
Oh, we're still talking about this?
You can see the hole. The ones that I actually got out, you could just see the open hole.
Well, you haven't put your input in yet, Eddie.
There's no black. There's no more pus and gunk in there.
It looks like an ear.
There's just holes now.
All right, put your input in, Eddie. What did you think of the film?
Ask me questions.
You're right, Eddie. What did you
think, sir?
So, Eddie, now in the film, Eddie began to watch it, but through the course of the film, Eddie slowly began to doze off. Now, what about this film was so not enticing to you? Because it kept me on the edge of my seat throughout the entirety of the movie.
Oh, all of it. The fact between the little toy.
Oh my god.
The cord toy.
Was it worse than Deathbed?
Yes.
I don't think it was.
I do. It was more because look, Deathbed has the skeleton hands. Dude.
That's all it had.
This didn't have.
I fell asleep during Skeleton.
This had one bit that made me laugh really hard. Only one. Deathbed had a couple. This one had one.
Was it the robot walking up to the kids as they stand there just for 20 minutes looking at it?
I think it was the robot nipples. That's what got me.
I saved me once.
No. Do you remember when the kids are just awkwardly in Central Park in the middle of the night and the Martians come up and is like, oh gosh, I wonder what would happen if a Martian came up behind us. And then gosh, Sally, and fucking 3 Martians come up out of nowhere. Sally, oh, look! Wah! It's just the most scripted thing imaginable. But
that was the most actor recreation I've ever seen.
No, and the best part is they would say something. Instead of having an actual plot.
The plot thickens.
Or set up. They would just say what just happened to fill you in.
No, it is.
They had a newscaster come in and be
oh, you mean Exposition Man?
Exposition Man would come in and
it's the lamest superhero of all time.
What was weird about that to me was that in real life, if there was UFOs, the government would definitely hide it from us. But in this, they just as soon as Santa Claus is gone, newspaper drops, Santa taken by Martians, and the U.S. government does nothing. They're like, oh, well, our hands are tied.
Well, they need something to have in the... oh my gosh, we should watch the trailer for this movie, because I'm guessing that the newspaper, crawl, when it's, spinning through it, it says, Santa Claus kidnapped by Martians.
Oh, just
right in the trailer.
Just in Deathbed, when the thing's spinning, it's people hear crunching sounds at night.
Well, honestly, I think the government is hiding Santa from us.
That's true.
He's actually in Area 51 right now.
Yeah.
One thing that makes me happy is everyone just knows Santa's real in this. Like in most movies, like the parents don't believe it, but the newscaster's just like, don't worry, guys, we think Santa's still safe. And they go to the real North Pole to do a news report.
We've got Chris Tucker up in the North Pole. Back to you, Chris. Yes, we're outside of Santa's workshop here, and it's
fucking cold.
Why is it so fucking cold? If I wanted to live in fucking Alaska, I would move to fucking Alaska.
Me up here, but it's Santa's workshop. The entirety of this operation is all in one shack in the middle of the tundra, and that's where Santa operates.
There's so much weird stuff. Like the whole robot thing. They make you believe that a polar bear is this. They talk about this. Okay.
Have you ever had a dream that
They talk about this like unstoppable thing that can kill anything and can't be stopped.
Oh, Korg.
And then they show the polar bear, and then the robot shows up, and you think, oh, it's gonna be the showdown of the century. The robot busts the door down. Santa's standing there, and then Santa walks up to it and goes, "You're a toy."
You're the biggest toy I've ever seen. And very well made, too.
And then it's done. That's
that's like the New
Game
Mutants.
over.
Magically, it's
It literally like stop, and the toy's like, alright.
Alright. Was it a bear, too?
No, my favorite part about that scene.
Yeah.
is
It was a grizzly bear, but we're talking about a
Polar
robot.
bear.
Polar
Oh,
bear.
it was a polar bear.
It was
a
the
robot
infamous-
that went, "You're a toy now."
It was the infamous grizzly bear that lives in the North Pole and is also white.
No, my favorite part of that scene was when. So they have these like popper guns that essentially just freeze someone midair, which really doesn't do a good job because the actors that got frozen are just like moving so ever so slightly. And the way that scene ends is that Korg, the robot, is no longer useful, and he is essentially a toy, and they just leave two elves, Mrs. Claus, and Korg frozen in the middle of Santa's workshop, and then they never get brought back, or that issue isn't resolved at all. Did the robot wake up and kill the elves and Mrs. Claus?
I hope so.
That's in the sequel, actually.
Oh, the sequel. Santa attacks the Neptunians. It's just Santa conquering his way through all the planets.
Well, everyone in this movie's so cool with being kidnapped.
You're being kidnapped. It's a 10-minute drive. Why would I take a nap there? No, I'm saying you're being kidnapped. I do not have kids there. No, you're not leaving. Leaving where? The car. What about the car? I'm taking you with me. Well, yeah, you're taking me to Starbucks to get a venti mocha swirl. No, I'm taking you to my house. Your house has a Starbucks?
Like, the kids just kind of like, alright, Santa's just like, fine. But the most 60s part of this movie, and I was wondering if they were going to pull this, is Santa Claus makes a joke about how his wife never stops talking.
You know, my dear, I can't recall a time when you were so silent for so long.
Just the most sexist way to walk out while being kidnapped. He walks up to his frozen wife and just goes, "Oh, I've never remembered a time when you weren't talking so much."
It's very funny for him to be shit-talking Mrs. Claus.
Right.
Like, everyone loves, like, Mrs. Claus and everything, and then, in this movie, it's just like, dude, she fucking sucks. Worst wife of all time.
Bro, I'm glad she's frozen. I couldn't stand the constant nagging.
It's the most 60s bullshit when, like, every stand-up comedian would just be like, I hate my wife.
That's a good point.
You hate your wife?
I think the movie is supposed to be based for kids and not for, like, a family.
Yeah, I couldn't really peg down I guess I could peg down the audience was obviously children. The jokes were horrendous. They fall flat almost all of the time. I couldn't remember one successful joke.
There wasn't a successful joke. So the joke that made me laugh because of its sheer stupidity was the one where, like, They were like, Santa, you're never going back to Earth.
Oh,
he
shit.
goes, ho, ho, ho.
Now you belong to Mars. Ho, ho, ho.
And then, like, Santa, I'm sorry, Mrs. Claus is frozen forever. Oh,
No, that's a happy one. That's a happy
Yeah,
one.
he hates his wife.
Up here.
No, he's getting it on with all those elves that stuck up for him that the robot just threw to the side when they walked through the door. No, do you remember when the robot kicked down the door to Santa's workshop? And since the robot is just a guy in a cardboard box, he has to like look down as he's stepping.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Yeah, he couldn't step through the door without looking down. You know they tried that once or twice with him looking up, and he fell both times, and he was like, fuck this. If you don't let me look down, I'm leaving the set. That definitely happened.
No, it's true. It's true.
I can attest, I worked on the film.
I was there during the production of it. I was actually the polar bear that... I was the bottom half of the polar bear. It was Randy in the front and then myself, Sean, in the back. Yeah, that's how we made it look so realistic.
Yeah, they actually spent $1.5 million or $150,000.
We actually skinned a real polar bear and crawled inside of it like a dead tauntaun.
That's even better than your performance in Jeff the Killer.
Yes, no, it was a method performance because I really had to. Both physically and metaphorically get inside the mind of the polar bear.
You just for like 2 months lived in the South and ate fish for a 1 minute cameo.
The entire $200,000 budget went to like a trip to the North Pole to find Santa and ask what he was really like, and then they found out that Santa wasn't.
No, that's
real.
why the budget on the rest of the film is just so shit.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that YouTube video where two people? The YouTube video where two guys get into a horse costume and they're putting into a arena with other horses.
I think that's a Jackass. Like,
yeah, it was a Jackass.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of dumb ones in Jackass's repertoire, but ultimately all the stupidity that Jackass has, I'd really say. Looks like a work of art compared to Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Yes.
How about those?
Keep butchering its name.
I still don't know it, to be honest.
How about those incredible fight scenes? Those fight choreographies, man, where they just sort of like slap each other.
Well, the way that they film them is doing it no justice whatsoever because they'll have two guys scuffling with each other and. They'll film it up real close, so you're right in the action of it, and you can clearly tell it's just two guys like slapping each other, barely pushing each other, and then they'll pull out to a wide shot, and then your suspicion is just confirmed that it's just two guys like kind of just pushing each other about.
And then the part that made me laugh the most was when he grabbed the guy's head and lightly was banging it against the thing.
Before I'm through with you, Bulldog, you wish you were floating around out there in space.
And then the guy passes out after seeing Santa.
Secret, would you?
They try and murder Santa Claus in this movie.
Many times. They fill the runtime with just this mustached villain trying to murder these two kids in Santa Claus.
Because he wants the kids to be sad, which is so that's so weird.
No, those are the stakes of the Martian kids. He doesn't want the Martian kids to grow up to be losers who watch TV. No, they want their kids to be sad and depressed and learn algebra laying down in bed.
I can't believe we skipped over the grandpa.
Check it out. Grandpa? Who?
Oh,
the
ancient wizard.
Oh, I completely forgot about this movie.
So the way that the whole plot was explained at the beginning is all these people were like, why are our kids sad? So they went into the middle of nowhere to talk to their ancient god or whatever, who pops out of a puff of smoke and he's kind of like cry explaining what they need to do to save their children's lives. Like, he seems very sad the whole time.
He seems very, like, senile, to be honest. Like, the old, like, wizard man at the beginning, the Gandalf guy.
Well, it just goes into, like, how everything in this movie goes on for way too long. Mm-hmm. The news report at the beginning goes on for too long.
Did you enjoy that crash, everybody?
Good job, Eddie.
He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you did, you little jerk.
Eddie's like, fuck the mic.
Mic drop.
Yeah, but the news report goes on for way too long at the beginning. The scene with the Martians goes on for way too long. The old man talking goes on for way too long.
The stock Air Force footage
goes on
honestly,
for
it's
way
pretty
too
interesting.
long.
Well, no, they wanted to make these scenes long so that they could get like an hour and 20-minute runtime. They were like,
Oscar.
"Yep, this is a real movie. Let's sell this to whoever will buy it."
I feel like that is like the staple of every movie we've watched, is padding the runtime with the same shit over and over again, so they could call it a feature-length film and not a short film.
I don't think nothing more than...
I wouldn't call this a film in general. I'd call this a hodgepodge of mistakes.
Nothing more than the Neil Breen one, though.
We trusted you like a brother. Kill him.
This wasn't part of our deal.
No payoff is worth this. I don't want any part of this.
Is there benefits when it's considered a feature film compared to a short film?
It's easier. Like a 45-minute short film won't do as well as in a film festival as a shorter feature-length film.
And you know that this was trying to go for that Sundance award. Like,
they put almost $2 million into this. Of course, they're trying to.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Check the Wikipedia. They got like 5 Oscars.
The budget for this was $200,000, which equates to like $1.7 million.
What year?
1964.
So was that like
4 years after Psycho came out? So movies shouldn't have been that bad.
No, but I mean, Psycho was in black and white, and this one was in color.
Dude, no, you could put this movie in like 1899, and it still should not have been that bad.
It wouldn't land.
People from 1899 that haven't even seen what a movie is would see this and be like, our future is headed in a terrible direction.
When did
I don't know
silent films become a thing?
Silent films was well, the first iteration of film was like in the beginning of the century.
Oh yeah,
like
there
they'd
was,
show
like, small clips.
They'd show pretty much essentially GIFs. On large screens, and people would be like, "Oh,
but
there's a train coming at us."
The first, I'm pretty sure the first movie that they consider a movie is the one where the moon gets shot in the eye or whatever. They made a movie about it called Hugo.
Oh, the Scorsese film.
Yeah, Hugo's pretty good.
They made a movie. They made a book about it called Hugo, which the movie was based on.
Well, I don't read.
It's like 1,000 pages of pictures.
1,000 pages, dude. I don't want to read Moby Dick.
It's not like there's like hardly any words in it.
Oh my god, a secret world.
I don't think she's sober at all.
Okay, let's...
Wait, can we get Sarah's impression of Billy from...
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Billy from the movie.
Yeah, you know the movie that you just watched?
Yeah,
Santa
Billy.
Conquers the
This
Martians?
one?
Yeah. Give us your best Billy impression.
Wait, should we give her like background?
No.
Okay, the best Billy impression. I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Yep. Billie Eilish, the small boy.
The small blonde boy.
It's played by Billie Eilish, and
Cool.
Damn, she fucking aged well.
No.
wants.
Shout out to Billy Sheely.
There was a Betty too, though.
You almost.
Betty was
there was Billy and
Betty.
I don't know.
Was it Betty?
Yeah.
What stupid names?
I know.
They couldn't think of 2 normal names. They had to go with the most what are the most kid names we can think of off the top of our heads?
Anything with a Y
Billy.
attached to it.
They should have just called him Iggy.
Well, the only way that they named the Martians was taking the name Omar and putting a letter in front of it. So it was Bomar and like Lomar.
No,
and
it was
Kilmar.
Omar. It was Omar, which is an actual Earth name, and then fucking like Bomar, which is just Omar but with a bow in front of it.
No, that's like when parents have
wasn't even a
twins.
thing, so I don't know.
No, that's like when parents
Is that
have
what it's
twins
based
and
off
then they don't have like a name for the other one, so it's like Michael and then like
Michael.
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 This is our kids, John and Don.
Exactly. Steven and Steven.
Hey, what about John John and John G-E-A or J-E-A?
What about John
and Jean?
Jean.
John and Jean.
Jean?
Jean.
You cunt.
Sean and Jeff. But with the G-E-O-F-F.
My dad's dad is one of 13 kids.
Your grandpa.
My grandpa.
Your dad's dad is also known as your grandpa.
I didn't know if it was
Grandpa's trademarked by Eddie.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was my dad's grandpa.
Grandpa TM.
My grandpa is one of 13 kids, and to remember all the kids' names, every single one of their names starts with a J. That's how lazy.
John.
That's how lazy
That's what
my
they
grandma.
did. 19 Kids and Counting. They were all J's.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Eddie, tell a dad joke. Let this be the
cut.
intro. We need 2.
I don't have any.
Because you didn't tell one last week.
You guys need to. Here, I got a joke.
Oh, Sean's got the dad joke.
What's what's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?
Nothing. Aren't they the same thing?
No, I've never paid $300 to have a garbanzo bean on my face.
Chickpea. Oh it's better than pretty balls, man.
You can bring that up every episode.
Yeah.
Pretty, but is that the catchphrase of this podcast?
No, have you never?
Pretty balls.
Have you never heard his pretty balls dad joke?
No, lay it on me.
Oh God.
Lay your pretty balls just all over me.
That was better than it.
No.
Wow.
No.
Check out the first episode.
Wow.
No, I got you. Okay, so some context. He texts me and he says, "I've got the best dad joke for you." And I was like, "Okay." And
bold claims.
And he said, and he goes, he didn't even tell the joke right the first time. He just went, "I dip my balls in glitter, pretty balls."
I think that's a joke standing up on itself, like on its own.
That was nice of you.
Pretty balls? It sounds like a compliment. What message are you sending?
And that was it. And that was the whole joke.
That sounds like a really good joke, guys.
It was a text while I was watching a movie.
Oh, that was earwax.
I constantly have that fear all the time.
He's like de-linting himself.
Eddie?
Yes, he's like taking a knife to his jeans and cutting out all the lint.
Oh, he's splicing. He's like a scientist in Jurassic
I'm gonna have to
Park.
vacuum this up later.
He's splicing and cutting out his DNA from his
like,
genes.
He's like that movie Splice.
Which one? Oh, the one. Is that a horror movie?
Yeah.
Splice? Do you want to splice, Eddie?
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel like you're gonna cut him.
Deeper.
Let me see what you have. No!
Wow, this has got to be extremely enthralling to all of our listeners out there.
Welcome to our.
So, to anyone who's listening, Sarah is currently bringing a knife to Eddie's and is just slowly scraping it.
That's
cute.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, tell us a dad joke. You gotta hit us with the best thing you can think above the top of your dome.
Come up with one off the cuff.
Alright, give me some time first.
Stop putting your jeans in my cup of water.
He's got his DNA in there.
Can we have Sean instead of Eddie on this podcast?
You just got replaced.
You're fired. You can't fire me. I quit. You can't quit. I quit. You can't quit. You're a frog. You can't frog me. You're my wife. I'm not your wife. You're my wife. Oh, hey, honey, how was work? Pretty good, but I quit my job. You can't quit your job. You're fired. Ah!
Boom.
Until March.
Hey guys, it's me, Eddie Sriracha, coming to you live.
From New York.
From New York.
We're not in New York.
It's Pardon Night Live.
I'm wearing a striped shirt. It looks great.
It's a striped sweater.
I have an I voted sticker on top of my head. And I'm the best grandpa ever.
Wow. I want the audience to guess how old I am.
19.
14.
36.
Are we the audience?
No one thought you were 36.
You were with me when that happened.
You look 12.
I was never with you when someone was like, "Are you 36?"
So, yes, we were. We were at Beach Week, and then me, you, and Nick all drove to a gas station. And I was driving, and some guy goes, "Yo, can you buy me some alcohol?" And I was like, "How old do you think I am?" He's like, "I don't know. You kind of look like 35." I'm like,
how old was this kid who needed you to buy alcohol for him?
He was just some drunk kid on the street. I was
I've heard that story.
Just some drunk kid on the street asking for alcohol.
I feel like he's
underage
25.
drinking.
No, he said 35, and I know for a fact.
Speaking of underage drinking, I'm
Billy
pretty
and
sure,
Betty.
Billy and Betty, the main protagonists of this film, seemed constantly drunk all of the time. Billy, the longest line that he had was in this airlock when he was explaining to the evil protagonist of the film with the mustache how the airlock worked. He had this 5-minute monologue on how, like, if the door opens, we'll be sucked out into space and then we'll die. And just pretty much that, but for 5 minutes. Ultimately, and that was the longest line that he had, and you could really tell he was stumbling through every single word he was saying, but
every actor.
He was trying. That was the important part.
At one point, I swear to God, the guy playing Santa fell asleep.
He's probably, like, tired.
They all looked tired. They all looked like they wanted to die. It's wrapped up so quickly that I feel like the actors were like, "Can we please just go home?"
Yeah, hit us with how it ended.
Well, the movie ended with, like, them being like, all right, you have your own Santa on Mars now. We're just going to go back to Earth by walking out of your front door.
Yeah.
We're still on Mars, though, but we'll figure out how to get home from here.
Well,
it couldn't be too hard to figure out.
Well, the way that they beat the bad guy is he's holding, like, the gun that freezes people, and the kids start throwing toys at him. And despite the fact that it looks like none of them are hitting him, he's under so much distress that he can't fire the gun.
Well, that's going back to the same issue that with, like, all of the fight choreography, was that they'd have these close, like, shots of the villain being, like, hit with a toy airplane in the face, and, like, just like, natural chaos of the scene. And then it cut to a wide shot of him standing in this vacant room, kind of just fumbling about with these toys awkwardly hitting him. And it just didn't work at all.
Wait, were the toys like were the toys like flying around?
No. They were just kind of like walking on the ground.
Walking toys and like bubble guns, and like Santa's laughing the scariest devil laugh the entire time.
It's like at the end of
No.
It's like at the end of Toy Story where the toys attacked Sid, but imagine if the toys were not sentient at all and just kind of there, and Sid was like,
There's a paper airplane at one point through him. Don't know that works.
Santa looks directly into camera and laughs.
Well, the thing is,
breaking the fourth wall.
There's literally there's a whole fucking scene where a guy just looks in the camera and goes, there's this slinky thing that goes down the stairs.
That's the thing with all these movies we've seen.
I wish I could just have one of those. And then the guy just walks up and hits him in the back.
He's like, stop talking about toys. Those are for kids. We're adult Martians.
Yeah, this movie's so fucking... Well, the whole plot is to kidnap Santa, make all the toys come out wrong, which... How would the kids know, first of all? How would the kids know what the fucking toys are? Because they're asking for, like, dolls and baseball bats But
Nothing
like,
specific.
Yeah.
right, but how do they know what those are?
Do I look like fucking the Martian?
I had
Like
Samantha and
Martian?
Ellie.
Marvin.
Who's the guy from Looney Tunes?
Marvin.
Was it Marvin?
Yeah. But,
Martin Scorsese, the Martian.
But that's what I mean. Like, if they have baseball bats, why were they throwing, like, bubbles at him? They could have just walked up and beat him with a fucking baseball bat. That would have been way funnier.
You got him!
Not good enough!
Come on, man! He learned his lesson!
They just if 4 kids just were beating a fucking dude with baseball bats, that would be hilarious.
Mother, I crave violence.
That would have saved this movie.
That's what this
That
movie
made it
was
worth it.
missing.
Child violence.
Child violence.
Oh, anyways, I think that's all I can take of this, man. Let's just wrap it up.
Have a happy holiday and a good New Year.
That'll be all from us at Pardon. Have a good one.
I'm Eddie the Grandpa.
1 like equals Eddie eating Sean's butt.
1 like is
Yes.
1 carb.
1 Rob Schneider out of 37 Adam Sandlers. Goodbye.
This is a shitty movie.
Give us your Rowley impression.
Okay. Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
That was pretty good.